Americans for Prosperity, AFP, the political arm of the billionaire Koch Brothers' sprawling influence network, which has traditionally confined its support to Republicans, plans to pursue a, quote, bipartisan approach, unquote, when determining which candidates to back in the 2020 election cycle. In a memo distributed to employees Thursday and obtained by CNBC, AFP CEO Emily Seidel announced that the group will evaluate candidates entirely based on their support for its preferred policies without respect to party affiliation. Now, and I happen to think that's very wise to look at candidates based on their positions. But that's not why I'm reading this to you. AFP or AFP Action, the group's super PAC, will be ready to engage contested U.S. Senate, U.S. House, and state-level primary races, including Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, to support sitting legislators who lead by uniting with others to pass principled policy and get things done, Seidel's memo said. The Koch network, collectively referred to as Stand Together, has struggled to find a political home since President Trump took office. While the group did endorse the bipartisan criminal justice reform package signed last year, it has staunchly opposed the administration's restrictionist immigration preferences, especially its approach to the status of so-called dreamers, as well as the protectionist trade policies that have increasingly captivated the congressional Republicans. Let's just stop right there. So they embrace what is one of the more liberal policy objectives of this administration, which is the prison break reform. Okay, I got it. Understand. Moving on. But restrictionist immigration preferences? Since when is supporting existing immigration law that has very liberal standards when people get in line legally to come into the United States, 1 million a year? Since when is wanting to secure a nation's border, to vet the people who come in here, to stop them from using our services if they're not here legally? Since when is that a restrictionist immigration preference? Well, we're trying to uphold the rule of law. That's number one. Number two, when all of you folks supported AFP, Americans for Prosperity, as did I, did you know that they believed in giving citizenship to millions of people who are here illegally, including DACA? Did you know that? I didn't know that. This is crazy-ass radical libertarian policy, which marries up with crazy-ass left-wing Bernie Sanders policy. And as for protectionist trade policies, let me say this. I'm a free trader. You all know that. I don't hide my views. But it's different when you're dealing with China. And it's different when you're dealing with Mexico that will not help us secure our border. And now they will, they say. Not because it was happening for 3 or 4 months, but because this president put his foot down. If it is the position of the Koch brothers and Americans for Prosperity that we should have massive amnesty, if it is the position of the Koch brothers and Americans for Prosperity that China is not an enemy, that they can continue to steal our technology, and therefore we should continue to trade with them like they're Canada, then this is very, very important to know, because I will never support them, and neither should anybody else. If this is their position, this is my position. And you can disagree with this president, as I do on a number of issues. I don't favor tariffs against our allies, as a matter of fact. The president knows exactly what I think, but he's elected president. I'm not. But he's also being attacked by the radical Marxist left that does not believe in the Electoral College, that does not believe in securing the border, that is undermining our military, that is undermining law enforcement, that rejects capitalism, that says all debt for college loans should be wiped away, that all college should be free, that there should be a wealth tax, a 70 to 90% marginal rate tax. If you can't get it between your ears, what we're up against here, then the hell with you. Bipartisanship? How do you have bipartisanship with Chuck Schumer? How do you have bipartisanship with Nancy Pelosi? 30 so-called moderate Democrats were just elected this time around, weren't they? And what happened? They all voted for Nancy Pelosi to be the speaker. Down the line, they vote with Nancy Pelosi because they're not moderates. They're liars. How do you expect to build a conservative movement back up again? How do you expect to give core principles back to a weak Republican Party led by Mitch McConnell, who's so busy handing out grants in Kentucky, he's not paying attention to the dead in this nation? But they like Mitch McConnell. They like Mitch McConnell. Since when did AFB throw in with the U.S. Chamber of Crony Capitalism? Since when did AFP throw in with Bernie Sanders when it comes to securing the border? Since when do they throw in with Mitch McConnell when it comes to spending? The only thing that stands between the left and us right now is the President of the United States. Not the House, not the Senate Republicans. And sometimes you have to take the bad and the ugly with the good. And there's a lot more good than bad and ugly. And it's unfortunate that the same organization and these same billionaires didn't support Donald Trump in the last election. No, they didn't. They sat it out. You sit it out. And so it needs to be said. While the Democrats are bringing John Dean in front of a judiciary committee because there's not a dime's worth of difference between the media and the Democrats. When the Democrats are trying to unconstitutionally remove a president of the United States from office, you're going to go bipartisan? Bipartisan with whom? Tell me. Who in the Democrat leadership? Who among the committee chairmen? The instincts are all wrong. The approach is all wrong. My advice, you decide. Millionaires and billionaires, and we, the rest of us alike, who you're going to support. You don't need to funnel your money through the Koch brothers. You don't need to funnel your money through Americans for Prosperity. And I know people who've worked there. My wife worked there once at a fairly senior level. Everything was copacetic. Everything's nice. This has nothing to do with that. I speak for myself. But this is appalling. Appalling. Save your money. You decide who you want to donate to. You decide. Trump is that bad? Really? Seriously? I'll be right back.